call the meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I invite you to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Kolpak?
Here.
Pepcorn?
Here.
Strand?
Here.
Turnberg?
Here.
Mahoney?
Here. We came out of the executive session and there was a motion that was suggested to move to authorize City Administrator Michael Redinger to negotiate with the parameters, within the parameters as established in the executive session. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Kolpak?
Here.
Turnberg?
Aye.
Pepcorn?
Aye.
Strand? Mahoney?
Yes. Library. The Cooperative Games Night for Teens will be February 24th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the main library. The games are not so much about competition as they're about working together to beat the clock. Registration is not required for this event. The annual online reading is so much fun. Winter Reading Challenge ends March 1st. There's still time for area readers of all ages to read to earn books, prizes, and chances to enter prize drawings. Are you in that? You going to read a lot?
I'm always trying to read more.
We have a few videos for you tonight. Last week, the community came together to remember and honor Fargo Police Officer Jason Mosher on the 9th anniversary of his passing. Comms collaborated with the Mosher family to assemble a video looking back at the memories of Jason, and will be working closely with Rachel, Dave, and Karen to help to plan the 10-year anniversary next year. Also, we're honored to report that after 18 months to recover, Fargo police officers Andrew Dotis and Tyler Haas are back on the street serving Fargo residents, businesses, and visitors. We will now show the shortened version of Jason's video, as well as messages from Andrew and Tyler.
Well, Jason was my husband. He worked for the Fargo Police Department for 6 years before he passed away. Prior to becoming a police officer, he was in the Minnesota Army National Guard, serving 2 tours as an Army medic, went to Bosnia and Iraq, and then really found his calling for serving and wanted to become a police officer. So he attended NDSU when he came back and went to Lake Region Police Academy after he completed his criminal justice degree at NDSU.
He liked going to Fargo Force hockey with us. They did a benefit game shortly after he died, and then a year later we did a memorial game for him, and that was a sellout. And shortly after that, then we met his heart recipient. He was an organ donor. When we first met them, then we all got to listen to Jason's heartbeat, which was pretty cool. Pretty good friends with him now.
Like, it's not lost on us right now as we're preparing to send you to college, knowing that you were in 3rd grade when he died and he's missed everything. Because he would have been really proud of you, making those decisions, and I know he would have wanted to be part of it. He probably would not be happy you're gonna go up to UND instead of NDSU. I mean, those things are still really real for us all the time. And other people can just, I feel like it's not really ever moving on because you don't. You move forward and you find ways to just have to deal with it. It's really real for us every day.
I mean, I think it's just kind of harder this year with me being a senior and graduating, and he's not gonna get to see me. He's not gonna get to see me walk across the stage, and I know he'll be watching from heaven, but he can't be there in person. I think that's one thing that's harder for me.
Remember him as a police officer and a soldier and a good son. Yeah, and it's every day we think of him. Been almost 9 years, and it's like it happened yesterday.
Never forgotten, cherished forever. Fargo Police Officer Jason David Mosher. End of watch, February 11th, 2016.
One of the main milestones that comes to mind for me is a lot of people saw when we were in the hospital, myself and Ty, and we got released from the hospital. Well, ultimately, when we got released from the hospital, there was still a lot of recovery that took place at home, and there was a hospital bed that actually had to be put into our living room. But a huge milestone for me was being able to get out of that hospital bed and then eventually have AJ back with us, and just felt like we were kind of a family again, even though there was still a lot of recovery to be done.
I'm an incredibly proud wife. I was proud the day I actually met Andrew, but especially now just watching all the things that he's overcome and all the times that he's pushed himself to go to the gym, even when he's in pain or even when he's tired, and really has worked so hard to not be hindered by this, but get to 150%, because early on, some of the doctors were saying, we don't know if you can get back to 100%, and he basically said, watch me, and has worked so hard and has pushed through so much just to get to this spot.
Some of the highlights or milestones just personally was walking in the hospital, and being able to walk out of the hospital was very big, and it meant a lot to me because I was able to watch Andrew walk out a few days before I did, and I wanted to match him as best as I could. But kind of moving forward with the event, the 1-year anniversary did come, and we were able to see Carly and see her walk up, and we were able to give her a Purple Heart for what she endured that day and her ability to continue to move forward.
One of the first things that Andrew wanted to do, besides like getting up and being able to stand and walk, is get down on the floor so he could play with AJ. And so even still in the ICU, he was in the PT room, like trying to use every piece of equipment they had to learn how to get down and up off the floor so that he could play with AJ. So that was a big motivator really early on.
As difficult as it is to say something like this, we're very thankful that it happened to us. And I say that because going into the shooting, we had a strong faith, and then we had a strong family too. Our support system from my parents, her parents, our extended family, everybody was there to support us. And the truthful aspect of it is we have come out better at the end of it all. And there's been a lot of struggles in between, but we're just so grateful that we had that support system, and that it could be us, and that it didn't have to be citizens or any other officers that would have to go through something like that.
I really just want to say thank you for all the support that you guys gave us over the last 18 months, and the support I really hope and implore you to continue giving to first responders, not just police, but to fire, EMS, dispatchers. They're often forgotten, and just continue to support them, because we're trying to do the best job that we can, and we hope that we can serve you in the best way possible.
Comms team did a real nice job on that. Is there a motion to approve the order of the agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the February 3rd, 2025 regular meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carried. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 28?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Pepcorn?
Aye.
Kolpack?
Aye.
Strand?
Yes.
Turnberg?
Aye.
Mahoney?
Aye. Item 29, application for abatement or refund of taxes 4598, property located at 6480 56th Avenue South, requesting a reduction in value. Will be explained by Mike Spankowski.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Just before we go into this abatement application, I just kind of want to explain a little bit about the mass appraisal process. The process is a very complex one, and it takes many steps to come to the final product. To describe it as simple as possible, we group properties into classes based on the general features of each property. And then we produce a valuation model based on a sample of the group and test it for accuracy against the sales, and apply the statistical tests that are available to show whether the model is equally distributed or not. Then we use the model to value all the properties in that class and adjust for individual features that add or take away value. Now, the state requires that for all sales in the previous year, the median or the middle ratio of the assessments divided by the sale price lands between 90 and 100%. However, this does not guarantee that every assessment will be 100% reflective of the market value. And in a city of 29,000 homes, it would be impossible for us to achieve that level of accuracy each year with our current workforce. And then you have the volatility and the basically unpredictability of the market as well. Mass appraisal is a broad brush approach that allows us to value as many properties as we can at a time while giving us good overall accuracy and an understanding that there will be a certain amount of inaccuracy. We are only able to do a total reappraisal of all the houses once every 5 years, but industry standards suggest that we do it every 6 years, so we are a little bit below that curve. It still happens that we will have pockets of properties that are undervalued as well. The purpose of the assessment is to aid in ensuring the fair and equitable distribution of the property tax burden. That's the main job that we are here for. In fact, North Dakota law allows abatements for 8 possible situations, with the most common reason being inequitable assessments. By that measure, while we strive for market value accuracy, it is actually a little bit more important that we strive for equity in valuation, so that the tax burden is distributed fairly and each taxpayer is paying an equitable amount to the people with properties that are in their same property class. In the same way that we do not automatically raise values when we see that they are too low, we also do not automatically drop values when they appear too high. We must look at those individual situations and see if the values make sense and is supportable from a market perspective, as well as equity and fairness of taxation. And in the past, our office, as well as this commission, has adjusted values on properties when the assessment was supported by the market, but was inequitable for taxation purposes. So we have to look at those two situations. So now getting to this particular subject property, in 2023, the value was at $443,100. And in 2024, the value dropped. We reduced the value as a part of our reappraisal efforts to $402,800. So this is one of those instances where it's possible that the value may have, basically the model may be a little bit inaccurate, in that when we did the reappraisal and looked at all of the properties in the class, what we came up with dropped the value a little bit. That will be, that if it is a problem, will be taken care of in the next reappraisal when we are able to get to those properties the next time. In the meantime, we have to look at, again, the comparable sales and the comparably assessed properties. So if you look at the table that I have provided for the sales of this property, we have 6 sales that are basically neighbors to it, very similar. And the median of that was $306 per square foot, and the subject property is valued for 2023 again at $301 per square foot. And then when we have the competing properties comparably assessed, the median came in at $307 per square foot, and again, subjects at $301 per square foot. So for the purposes of this application, we believe that the value is well supported and that they're being treated equitably for property tax purposes. So we are recommending no change in value for the 2023 assessment. I'm not aware if the appellant is present or not.
So Michael, in 24, it's 402, and in 23 was higher.
Yep.
And so you can go back and then say, okay, now I want you to go back and look at 23 and reduce it? How many years can you go back and ask to reduce taxes?
I believe you can go back 2 years is what is allowed. But again, it depends on, whether it's supported or not, we're saying that it is well supported. And
so you would have not reduced this to the 402 unless you went back into the house? What if you had waited 5 years?
then we would say, no, it's beyond the statute of limitations.
Doing that. Any questions or discussion, commissioners? Motion is to have no change in value in 23, is that correct?
Correct.
It would be 402,800.
No, that's for 24, and
Okay.
they are not appealing the 24 value. This is the 23 value.
Okay, so the 23 would remain as
So
well.
to stay at 443,000.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Pepcorn?
Aye.
Kolpak?
Aye.
Strand? Turnberg?
Aye.
Mahoney?
Aye. Public hearings. Section 5307, Federal Transportation Administration Grant Primary Program of Projects in 2025. Julie Bubbleman to explain.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. This is my annual appearance for the public hearing requirement for our federal funding under Section 5307. It can be used for operating or capital. We use it for operating. This is the amount that appeared in the Federal Register a few weeks ago. They're only releasing 5/12 of the total amount that eventually will be released. So this amount is for the 1.288 million. We anticipate about another 1.8 million coming our way. So this is to, like I said, fulfill that federal requirement. There's a breakdown in your packet of how we're proposing the money be allocated between operating, planning, our ADA paratransit, and there is a federal requirement that we're to put 1% towards safety and security purposes, so that's also allocated in there. So tonight I'm just asking that you approve the program of projects and authorize me to go ahead and submit the grant.
And this was in the budget, so there's no change, there's no really increases. It's what you had in the budget, Julie?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
And last year when I was here, it was kind of disappointing. We went down a significant amount. Now we're trending back up. This is about a 4% increase over last year's allocation.
Very good. Is there anyone present who wishes to speak to this plan? Anybody wishing to speak to the transit plan with this money? Close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Commissioner Strand?
Thank you, Julie. I'm just curious, are any of these grant funds in jeopardy going forward or in limbo or right now?
I would love to have an answer to that. I asked Federal Transit Administration the same question when it was announced that there may be some impact to our funds, but their answer was we don't have an answer. So right now we're in a holding pattern.
So at this point, no.
That's correct, yes.
And if that happens, what would we do?
We would have to cut service, to be honest. We would have to cut back.
John, you always ask hard questions.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Julie
That's a tough
cry
one.
or something. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Strand?
Yes.
Turnberg?
Aye.
Kolpak?
Aye.
Pepcorn?
Aye.
Mahoney?
Aye. Public hearing on 31, Grafton First Edition, 5401 and 5617 19th Avenue North and 2101 57th Street North. Approval recommended by Planning Commission on 12-3. Zoning change from agriculture to and limited industrial to agriculture. And first reading of the rezoning ordinance and a plat of the Grafton First Edition. Donald Cress to explain with a nice spring sweater.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Commissioners. Donald Kress with the Department of Planning and Development. Our one item here I'll be presenting includes an ordinance prepared by the City Attorney's Office. The Grafton First Edition is located here, outlined in black. This is 57th Street North and 19th Avenue North. The property is largely undeveloped. There are 2 residences on here. Those are 2 of the properties that will remain agricultural. Just for reference, here is the North Dakota Horse Park and Mid-America Steel here. This is some photos of the site. This is 19th Avenue. There's some existing steel buildings there. Here's looking for 23rd Avenue North. This is in the adjacent subdivision. get an idea of what's there. And corner of 57th and 19th Avenue North. And then facing easterly across the property, this is Mid-America Steel over here. And again, the subject property is in here. The subdivision plat proposes to create 13 lots here and a private drive. This is a private drive that will serve these lots. It's not a public street. The city will have no responsibility for this. We have to note there will be one modification for the plat. The project surveyor is going to come in tomorrow and add an N here to make it Vernaway North, just to make it official there. So there'll be one minor modification. The current zoning is agricultural. The proposed zoning, these two lots here, will retain their agricultural zoning. These lots 2 through 12 will be zoned limited industrial, which is similar to the adjacent zoning here. Limited industrial here. This is Veterans Industrial Park, which you approved a couple of years ago. The applicant's representatives, Chris Mack of Christensen's Companies and one of the property owners, Hans Grafstrom, are with us this evening and may wish to address the commission. The Planning Commission's recommendation is stated in the staff report and shown on the screen. This concludes staff's presentation. Thank you, Commissioners.
So anyone present who wishes to speak to address City Commission regarding this rezoning? Is there anyone who wishes to speak? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Pepcorn?
Aye.
Colpack?
Aye.
Strand?
Yes.
Turnberg?
Aye.
Mahoney?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Item 32, recommendation to approve request for qualifications for professional event curation and management services for Fargo Civic Center. Mike Redlinger to explain.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good evening. In early January, the City Commission discussed conducting an RFQ process for the Civic Center and its potential reuse in the future. And so our goal is to engage as many promoters as well as people that could utilize the facility. And what we did was create an RFQ that's included in your packet this evening. And this will be distributed upon approval to as many people as we can identify that may be interested in providing us with a proposal. Certainly, if there are other areas that the commission would like to see this distributed, in addition to the city website, as well as some of the individuals who I know have expressed interest, we want to make sure that we are getting it out to as many people as possible. And so upon approval, we'll get that updated on the website, and then you will have a closing on that RFQ of March 28th. That's in the schedule of events, and then I'll come back to the commission in mid-April with a recommendation after staff gets an opportunity to take a look at it. So your request tonight is to approve the RFQ and allow us to proceed with the next steps in the process and direct city staff to screen prospective applicants that step forward with proposals. So that is all I had this evening. If you have any questions about the RFQ, I'm happy to answer those questions. Thank you.
Any questions from the Commissioner? Commissioner Pipcorn.
I just have a quick question about the infrastructure of the building. There's lots of things, it's 60 years old. Is that part of the, or if there's some potential costs, will that be a separate issue? How will we address that? Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Commissioner Pepcorn. And we were very careful in the RFQ to put a caveat emptor language in there that we are not warranting or guaranteeing any kind of condition of the Civic. And in fact, it's an as-is condition. And so if someone looks at it, we're happy to tour somebody, say if they wanted to take a look at the facility. If they looked at it and said, you know what, I'm just not going to be able to make that work, or I need to have a physical improvement to be able to make that work, that's going to reopen that RFQ. We would come back to the commission and talk about that. But ideally, this is going to be an as-is condition. And so whomever can use it in the as-is condition, we welcome that. But we do not intend to put a bunch of capital dollars into it. We know that there will be cost to the city. We want to be clear about that, and that there's going to be some anticipation of sweeping and cleaning and other services that may be necessary. But we really want to hear from the proposers first, just to see kind of what's on their mind. Ideally, it's a turnkey operation, that we send it to somebody and that they clean it up and they do as much as they can. But any physical improvements, we want to come back and talk to the commission about that. We want to make sure it's the right deal.
So we've had interest from a pickleball team, or pickleball court over there, Dave, which would not take a lot to do. So would it be used? So that would be one of the questions. Any other comments or discussion, Commissioner Strand?
Thank you, Michael. I'm just curious if you're, as I read this, we're looking for a management relationship. What if somebody wants to buy it?
So the RFQ, thank you, Commissioner Strand. So the RFQ does not contemplate a sale of the property. This is really simply allowing someone to come in and operate it and work with us to try activate it. And so that'd be a different question. And if someone did propose terms, we would need to take that back to the commission. We would not consider that as a part of this process. That would be a separate question, separate matter altogether.
But John, if you have a buyer, bring them forward, would you please?
Well, and my next question is, like, say we don't get anywhere. Do then we look at city use of the building, or schools or parks or public use, or what would plan B, C be?
Yes, that's a great question as well, Commissioner Strand. And so we've talked about that internally. No doubt there will be continued needs for office space within the city of Fargo structure. We would like to hold that office space upstairs if possible. Our finance department, for example, is using that or will be using that as a part of its financial software program that comes up here in 2025. And so we certainly would engage other public users if we think there could be a fit there. But ideally, based on our past experience, we spent a lot of time in 2019, 2020, 2021 renting out that space. And we had a lot of time and effort that went into making that space above the Civic available for other outside groups. And there was really a diminishing return on that. There wasn't a great deal of rent income from that really paid our bills. And so ideally, we would hold on to that for a public use. And certainly we would look to the city as well. We want to hear from these proposers. If someone's got an idea to be up there, and that's great, but we do want to reserve as much as we can those spaces for our needs first. And so primarily we want to see RFQ respondents talk about the bowl, talk about the lower level and the arena itself. That's where we would like to see most of their thought and energy directed to.
Any other discussion? Ms. Sternberg?
Brought back a lot of memories walking over there today, checking it out, some old concerts and whatnot. And I think there's some possibilities that are exciting. So it'll be fun if we approve this to see what comes through.
Do you remember the band that played there when you were there?
Motley Crue.
Good. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Kolpak?
Aye.
Turnberg?
Aye.
Pepcorn?
Aye.
Strand?
Yes.
Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you.
Liaison Commissioner updates. Commissioner Strand.
Nothing, Mayor.
Commissioner Kolpak.
2 slides today. First is water utility, another award to be recognized. The American Council of Engineering Companies of North Dakota is honoring the City of Fargo and Apex Water Group with an Engineering Excellence Award for Fargo's newest water tower. The award recognizes projects that demonstrate exceptional innovation, complexity, achievement, and value, and the tower is the largest in North Dakota, holding 2.5 million gallons of water. It replaces 3 aging towers that needed major repairs, and the single high-capacity structure improves efficiency, reduces maintenance costs, and increases the dependability of Fargo's water system. So congratulations to the team.
I know one of the towers is down. Are the other 2 water towers coming down this year?
Yes, they are.
Okay, good.
And nobody can use them for political advertising.
Yes, you
Saying.
know that firsthand, Commissioner Strand.
Give John a piece of that, maybe.
Yeah, thank you. And then the next is recognizing our Communication and Government Affairs team. It's Government Communicators Day is February 21st, and it's a great time to recognize the challenging work performed by all the government communicators who dedicate their efforts to the City of Fargo and other metro governments' communication teams. The communication teams provides around-the-clock service, ensuring our residents have the information they need when they need it, and our communicators are integral to all city departments, including FargoCast Public Health, MatBus, Fargo Dome, and the library. The team responds to hundreds of media inquiries each year, processes our open records requests, broadcasts all of our meetings, plays a vital role in recruiting Team Fargo members, and uses all platforms to keep the public informed. And you will learn a little more about how our public likes to be engaged at tomorrow's informational session.
Thank you. I have nothing to report. Mr. Sternberg?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Pipcorn?
Nothing to report, but 1971, Ted Nugent at the Civic. 1972, Rush. And that was, Neil Peart was a drummer, one of the best drummers in rock and roll history. And so Not to age ourselves, but it was lots of good memories.
Wasn't even born then.
Thank you. Hey, now, I object to that statement. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes my update.
Well, we want to get down at the Wheel of Fortune. We have no speakers and resident speaking comment at this point, so we will stand adjourned. Thank you.